Greetings and salutations. Today we'll be covering the spine-chilling secret of a sinister Halloween slaying. In the shadowy realms of mysteries and murders, the chilling Halloween night slayings of Ronald Sisman and Elizabet Platzman in the year 1981 loom as an enigmatic specter, a riddle that has endured for years, perplexing investigators and captivating aficionados of true crime. This macabre double homicide unfolded in the heart of Manhattan, leaving in its wake a trail of unanswered questions, queries, and secrets that stretch across the decades. It was on an ominous Halloween Eve that the lens of fate would focus on photographer Ronald Sisman and the Smith College scholar Elizabet Platzman. Within the confines of their Manhattan abode, they would fall victim to a savage assault, enduring both brutal beatings and gunshot wounds. Their sanctuary became a scene of chaos, as their personal identities were all but erased, and a firearm vanished into the abyss. The absence of any signs of forced entry only added to the mystique surrounding this case, hinting at a sinister nexus between the victims and their mysterious assailant. Yet perhaps even more eerie is the potential for connection with an underground secret sect steeped in the occult, a theory explored in a chilling documentary series covering the Sons of Sam. Said expose delves deeper into an unsettling proposition that these murders may have been just one in the myriad of threads in a more ominous criminal tapestry. The specter of that eerie Halloween night in 1981 still haunts many an investigator and shrouds this case in an enigma which remains just out of reach. The grim discovery of the bodies unfolded precisely at 7:40 p.m. on Halloween night 1981, deep within the heart of Manhattan on West 22nd Street near the haunting Greenwich Village. A gruesome tableau awaited those who dared enter. In this duplex apartment, a space where Ronald Sisman, a 39-year-old photographer, blurred the lines between his abode and his photography business, a sinister narrative played out. The apartment was bathed in the chilling glow of Halloween, and it would become a gruesome stage for an act that transcended the bounds of imagination. Ronald Sisman and his companion Elizabet Platzman, a 19-year-old Smith College student, were engaged in a photo shoot when the night took a nightmarish turn. Records showed that a relentless pounding at the door became a prelude for pernicious depravity. Investigators would find that the door showed no obvious signs of forced entry. This caused there to be a dark and unknown connection between the victims and the assailant to be proposed. It must be noted that the intruder unleashed a relentless fury upon the victims, inflicting savage injuries and sealing their fate with cold, calculated gunshots to the back of the head after their brutal beating. This abode, which was once a sacred space of both labor and respite, became a harrowing crime scene, which was ransacked and left with its furniture torn asunder, as the victims' belongings were strewn about the entirety of the abode, and the very walls which witnessed this brutality were soaked and splattered with blood. What could the killer have sought amidst this chaos? The missing items only added more perplexity to the puzzle. Amongst the stolen possessions were Ronald's .25 caliber pistol and the driver's licenses of both victims. It's conceivable that the very pistol used in the heinous act was the one spirited away. Investigators were left to question what was the motive behind this macabre incident. Quickly, the shadow of a drug-related connection began to loom large over the case. It was hinted that Sisman might have owed money to a drug dealer, particularly after a prior accusation made by Maloney Poller, an actress known for her role in Welcome Back, Nodder. She would claim that Sisman had attempted to coerce her into narcotics use, though he fervently would deny these allegations. The investigation into this drug angle was brief, as Poller refused to cooperate, and the case would subsequently be dropped. However, it appeared that the sinister tendrils of this case would go far beyond the surface. A macabre connection to an underground satanic cult looms large over the slayings. Sisman had been hired by this enigmatic cult to create a video, and disturbingly, he seemed to possess recorded evidence linked to at least one of the Son of Sam killings. David Berkowitz, an influential figure figure within this cult and a self-proclaimed fortune teller ominously prophesied a ritual murder to be carried out on Halloween, and it appeared to many that it was scarcely a surprise that this grim prophecy pointed directly towards Sisman's ill-fated apartment attack. It would be an unnamed informant who would relay this information to authorities. Yet Sisman's relatives vehemently denied this revelation of a connection between Berkowitz or any involvement with a cult, let alone one steeped in satanic rituals. The stolen identification itself would eventually become forever lost in the abyss. During the cult's other heinous deeds, such items of personal identification were similarly taken. However, the case remains to this day open and a festering wound on the annals of criminal history, a riddle that seemed to permanently evade the grasp of authorities, with no arrests casting a chilling pall over this case. Aside from the early theory of this killing being drug-related, investigators ventured deeper into the mysteries surrounding Ron Sisman, and the further they dug, the more convoluted this case grew. The absence of forced entry hinted that the assailants may have known Ron and been familiar with the abode itself. This would cause them to look further into his family. However, they were unable to find any motives, so they would end up dropping this lead. As the investigation seemed to hit an impasse, both investigators and the public were hungry for more answers, and as the quest continued, authorities found themselves adrift in a sea of speculation, as the unsettling narrative would then focus on the Son of Sam serial killer, a name which had struck terror into the hearts of New Yorkers in the 1970s. Astonishingly, the information that asserted that Berkowitz possessed not only foreknowledge of Sisman's murder, but had also pointed an accusing finger to a satanic cult and attributed the heinous crime to their sinister machinations and rituals, painted a bleak picture for authorities, suggesting that the cult's dark activities transcended the boundaries of just one tragic murder, and potentially extended to the Son of Sam killings themselves. It was a tapestry of violence which, if true, would have horrifying implications for one of the most infamous cases in New York's history. What further deepened this sense of terror was an unverified theory that Ron Sisman had, in a twisted turn of events, recorded the murder of Stacy Moskowitz, a victim of the Son of Sam. This ominous connection blurred the lines between two seemingly unrelated cases, casting detectives' gaze upon this case from a new avenue. However, it is crucial to note that these allegations, despite their shock value, remain largely unsubstantiated. Unfortunately, even with the new avenues of investigation along with the myriad of theories connected to them, it would seem that the dark tapestry of this case would elude resolution. The mystique of this gruesome double homicide, while acting like a siren's call that continues to ensnare the minds of amateur sleuths and armchair detectives, along with seasoned investigators alike, seems to have a complete absence of definitive answers, only giving rise to more theories and speculation, each as compelling as the last and equally as unverifiable. Everything from nightmarish scenarios of random acts of violence to organized criminal rings and even sojourns into cults and the supernatural have been investigated, but even with this, the truth remains as elusive as ever. As the relentless march of time has rolled on, the haunting case of Ronald Sisman and Elizabet Platzman stands as a stark reminder of the profound limits of our understanding. Despite the ceaseless dedication of investigators and the fervent curiosity of those who yearn for answers, the truth remains elusive. The lack of definitive proof, coupled with the sands of time, casts a foreboding long shadow over the prospects of justice for the victims or closure for their families. The Halloween murders of Ron Sisman and Elizabet Platzman serve as a poignant testament to the enduring mysteries that persist, unyielding even in the face of the most relentless of investigators. In the realm of revelation and riddle, where mysteries mount and motifs meander, the desire for discovery and detail has danced through the discourse. The lingering enigma of this Halloween horror haunts history. Chilling chronicles swirl, inviting further inquiry into this inexorable enigma. The chilling chronicle, replete with resonance and resounding theories, reverberates through the ages, as a cryptic cacophony of questions and quandaries. It stands as a solemn reminder that some secrets, like shadows, shall remain shrouded, weaving a web of wonder around that eerie Halloween night in 1981. If you remained with me until the end, I thank you, and I do hope you stay tuned and subscribe for more content.